Hey, what the fuck is up, guys? It's Attacko, and today I wanted to rank every New World weapon by the IQ of the players who use it. Now, some weapons may vary based on the abilities used, but we're going to start with the worst of the worst muskets. These are in the fucking handicap tier. Muskets have a colored reputation in New World, found most commonly in their natural habitat. I think it's safe to say that they are hated universally, only used by the absolute worst. These players, when not found on a rock, are also frequently featured at the receiving end of a PvP montage or trying unsuccessfully to 1v1 people. Truly a class of bonobos, role playing as 360 no scopers from the bygone age of 12-year-olds quick
Leave a
scoping in
comment down
Nuketown.
below of
Next, a weapon I really wanted to put at the bottom, only slightly being beat out by the Rock Monkeys, life stabs, easily in the fucking handicap tier. I'm sure this will be controversial for many. I can already hear the focus clad tears crying in unison, most commonly equipped by middle aged women and older men aged beyond their ability to be competitive in the modern metagaming environment. I often know immediately when I am dealing with one of these players because my Experian app notifies me when I have a registered sex offender in my area, a weapon out of place in a game that has many moments of intense mechanical skill, aiming, well timed dodging, and limited healing. Life stabs require absolutely zero fucking skill, zero brain cells, just W key in the other direction when pressed and keep on breaking parole, you fucking sex offenders, by healing that musket player that would have died 5 minutes ago. Third, a weapon hated by many, a weapon that when played differently has a very different place on this tier list. Flamethrower fire stabs, easily in the fucking handicap tier, only saved from outperforming muskets in this bracket because they can be played skillfully, theoretically. Flamethrower fire stabs are most commonly found 8 meters outside of the fight, RP in Call of Duty, World at War zombies, reminiscing in a simpler time and never advancing beyond the Syndicate Kino der Toten zombie strategies from fucking middle school. These flamethrower bonobos will fold immediately when interacting with another player, similar to the rock enjoying muskets. Flamethrowers single handedly yeeted this weapon into the handicap tier. Defensive tree rapiers. Handicap tier. As someone who fell in love with the rapier at launch, let's be honest, it takes no fucking thumbs to hit riposte and evade away. A low mechanics carry, bonobo tier weapon. I hate you just for equipping this. Enfeebling skewer spears. Motherfucking handicap tier. Truly a weapon found most commonly in the hands of ex-OSRS players wishing to recreate the combat that they love. PvE tier left click spam, trading with no mechanics, enfeebling spears can fortify you up to 40% plus supply of 44% fucking weaken, reducing the target's damage and rank capping you, making you get fucked in the ass for damage taken, all the while leaving dots on you. This weapon is mostly used by PvEers and disenfranchised shit duelers who need broken shit to carry them to victory. War bow players. Motherfucking handicap tier. Another handicap tier playstyle carried by the fact that they're literally playing fucking Bloons tower defense in the corner of the goddamn map, not New World. Literally just spamming random arrows, poison shot, motherfucking penetrating shot. This shit sucks and you suck for playing it. Sword and shield. Bitch ass D tier, another low IQ Zambumafu weapon. Sword and Shield is typically played by melee who sacrifice their 1vx and group fighting capability to win 1v1s against other melee and dex players who are mechanically better than them. This weapon is literally the bonobo's choice for finding common ground with better players, boasting some of the highest single target DPS even in PvE, most accessible stuns, smallest commitment to attacks, including abilities, high mobility, and the ability to block projectiles. Sword and Shield is most commonly found in duels, 3v3s, most egregiously being played by shit heavy armor chimps. Hatchet. Hatchet. Fucking D tier. There was once a time when this left click piece of shit spam ascended gathering tool would have made it into the pinnacle of the handicap tier, but as the game has progressed in assisting people handicapped and overwhelmed by a non tab target MMO, this weapon has nearly achieved the middle standing position on this tier list. For brevity of relatively mid IQ plays using social distancing, despite this, hatchet remains an idiot weapon simply because the players who pick it frequently do so for defy death, a passive that is absolutely only for Zambumafu tier players who find value in 3 more seconds of life because their average lifespan was only 3 fucking seconds to begin with. Great Axe. D tier. As a Great Axe enjoyer, this really does hurt my heart, but the truth and justice wrought by this tier list must be upheld. Great Axe is no longer the handicap tier weapon it was at launch, receiving a massive nerf to its lunge, now requiring planning and timing to be successful in a chase. But it is only, only ruined by its barn-sized gravity well. Truly a bonobo tier weapon, most commonly found throwing their barn at the biggest clump of people nearby. Full Defiant Stance Greatsword builds D fucking tier. Another low IQ Zambumafu build. Greatsword is another weapon with potential for very high skill ceiling. Trolled with the possibility of an old school RuneScape tier playstyle where you only play Defiant Stance and attempt to avoid all mechanics in the game, saved from handicap tier only because it has to deal with an inability to chase and gets shit on by enfeebling skewer enjoyers. Blunderbussy. C tier weapon. Once a handicap tier weapon, but after the nerf of the exploit being used with sword and shield perks carrying over to your main hand weapon, Blunderbussy has achieved a semblance of skillful gameplay. Despite having a large hitbox, it differs from other handicap tier weapons like Musket because it requires you to be melee range, which exposes you to vastly more mechanics and requires legitimate reactions to them, or you will die due to long cooldowns. Ice Gauntlet. Fucking C tier. At launch, this was also a handicap tier weapon. Now, this weapon has a much higher skill ceiling due to obvious nerfs to Ice Spike and Wall, which used to be busted beyond fucking belief. Usable by all players, including Ricky Berwick tier players, Ice Gauntlet's main defensive, turning you into a block of ice, is the only thing keeping this from being a B tier weapon. Void Gauntlet. C tier. Once a bonobo's crutch, Void Gauntlet has changed colors from its storied handicapped past after the nerf to roots, allowing you to iframe from within them. I cannot include this in the handicap tier. There are plenty of ways to outplay people with this weapon. It is now a good boy. Motherfucking Warhammer B tier. For many, the weapon associated quite literally with fucking bonobos. This will come as a confusing placement, but make no mistake. Warhammer does boast a skill ceiling. Ever since the February change to animation canceling, baiting with a hammer, and huge outplays are possible with this weapon. Good players in a melee versus melee fight will make their biggest outplays on each other with a motherfucking hammer. Chad Firestaff players, fucking A tier. Firestaffs, for many, are a subject of extreme controversy. They have huge hitboxes. They are stat patters. But for me, the Firestaffs with the girth to equip Incinerate, a transformed playstyle that boasts extreme outplay potential, big dick damage, grit, and requires timing. This genre of Firestaff player deserves its IQ placing at A tier. Stance swapping great sword players. A fucking tier. New World's newest weapon has been another controversial addition to the game, but do not be fooled. When played in stance swapping, you have extreme risk. You have low chase at long range, like a great axe, so if you get kited, you are fucked. You take roughly 27% more damage than Warhammer and Great Axe players due to Enduring Strikes, which is present on Warhammer and Great Axe, and Onslaught, causing you to take another 15% more damage. However, there are countless pokes, tricks, and interrupts that allow extreme outplays, easily the hardest melee weapon to pick up, unquestionably an A tier IQ pick. Small scale bow players, obviously A tier, often confused with plebeian musket players and war chimps. Bow is a weapon that can be played in the handicapped tier, but has an S tier skill ceiling. Bow has only been made easier to play over time. This is true, but the contrast between bow and other ranged weapons is so extreme due to arrows requiring timing and fucking Kentucky windage that it deserves this position in an A tier for IQ. Finally, Chinese gold farmers. S fucking tier. Many think they know the fabled highest IQ weapon. Many argue bow, greatsword, bleed rapier. All are wrong. We play New World. Chinese gold farmers, those motherfuckers play us. Finally, thank you guys for watching my New World PvP weapons by IQ tier list. Comment below, and see you later, baby girl.